before I get started with this video, I wanted to mention a lot of the stuff with the truck's already been done. This video is just to one, I've already made, we're making a coil bucket for the passenger side. I've already made one for the driver's side, so I just have to replicate it for the passenger side. And on the truck, I've already made the track bar and the drag link. I've already had the axle put in and everything. I just haven't uploaded it yet because I recorded those videos in Ultra HD, and my laptop is having a really hard time loading up the video, so I can't edit them currently. So what I did for this is I turned the file size down on these videos, so hopefully this one I can upload and let you guys know. That's why the videos have been delayed lately. It's because of that. With that off to the side, I got some things ordered some cut pieces for the coil buckets. I can show you guys the finished product. I think it's snowing outside too, so it's pretty cold out here. It is snowing a little bit. So there's the final product of the coil bucket. As you can see, I didn't really want the regular square setup that everyone else had. I kind of wanted it to, I needed it this wide at the bottom to clear this, and as you can see, I could barely clear that nut. I had to cut the bolt down about that much just to fit into the track bar bracket. And it tapers up, or it tapers in, so that the coil can get in there, and then there's also a tube in there to keep the coil in place. I've already dropped the truck several times and jumped on it, and it works fine. The only problem I'm seeing that could cause, or that could be a problem, see if you guys, might be too dark, but I welded that seam. I didn't cut it all the way through. I cut it about halfway and then bent this because I don't have a bender, and this is the 3/8 thick steel, so it's going to be really hard to bend anyways. But what I did was I just cut it, bent it, and then welded up the seams. So I just filled it in with weld, and it holds up the truck just fine. The problem is I don't know how long it's going to hold up the truck for. I'm pretty confident on it because I literally raised the truck and dropped it, and it was fine. And then also I wanted to make these adjustable, so I made these brackets, or I just designed them and then I had a separate company cut them out. As you can see, I welded them all in fully already. And it's also, instead of having it just on one side, I decided to have it on both sides, so it's like a double shear type thing going on, and it's a lot stronger because I'm able to weld one bracket on this side and the other bracket on this side, instead of welding one bigger bracket and then having it only on one side and having only one weld, because this thing has to sit flat on the frame. So that's what I did. I also did add that to kind of support that the welds there a little more. The top I'm very confident in because this squared out. Every bend you see here, I just cut and bend and then filled with weld. So what I did was I filled all the seams, all the cut edges with weld, but it's basically making a bucket where this whole top part is closed in, and it's also filled in the back there, as you can see. So that's what I did. I basically cut it halfway, and then I'm just gonna bend it and then fill it in with weld. You can see this one's already partially done, kind of. I should have made these 1/4 inch. I for some reason I thought a quarter inch thick steel wouldn't be strong enough to hold it, so I just kind of got 3/8 inch or 3/8 of an inch steel, which is overkill, because a 1/4 inch should be well, like 1/4 inch plate should be enough to hold the truck, no problem. But for some reason I just decided that I was going to go with 3/8, which is just really thick, and then it's also pretty heavy. Okay, so I've got this in place here, tacked up, and the two rods are keeping the back properly distanced, and this is just tacked up in the front because it kind of went tapered in a little bit on the front side. So all I did was I had this taps set lying around, and this happened to be without the other handle piece, happened to be about exactly the same width as that. So all I did was I put that in there and then unscrewed that rod or that handle, so it expanded it more, and that's how I got this front part spaced out properly. And then with that in, I just tack welded this piece of metal that I had from the old idea of leaf spring setup. We won't talk about that. I just used this plate just as a placeholder, so it just keeps it in place. And then before I weld these edges in, I'm gonna put the top in first. That way the top can sit, or that way when I weld this, it's not gonna pull this back out. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna finish up welding the top, and I made this template here from the first side, from the driver's side. So as you can see, I have an 1/8 inch plate on each side, and all I'm doing is tack welding that together. And then that 1/8 inch plate thing is gonna space it out on top. So all I'm gonna do is slide this on top of here, and then that'll space this out properly. So yeah, let me just weld this up and then tack this on, and then we'll get to the rest of it. All right, so as you can see, I got it all welded up. I was having some trouble with my welder, so not the greatest looking ones. But these two basically on the side, this is the rear. I marked it because these two were the most 90 degree out of all of them. I did just eyeball these. This used to be a flat piece of plate that I bent, so I kind of just eyeballed it and then I cut it. I didn't use a machine or anything. So each of these tabs that were cut is different from the other one. So these two were the most 90 degree out of all of them that I could find. Anyways, I got this tube here welded up the inside. I don't know what they put in that gas. It smells weird. Where did the thing go? There it is. So I got this insulator from eBay. I burnt it a little bit because I had it in here when I tacked it up. But I basically just put this in here. This is a 3 3/4 tubing, I think. And I just measured the inside of this and then ordered 3 3/4 tubing, and it fit perfectly. Once that was it, I believe this is only 3/16 as well. I don't need this to be that thick. You don't actually need it this tall either. I kind of just I have it that tall on the other side, so just for being symmetric. So I basically just put that in there, let it sit on the inside, and I just measured so that this thing was in the middle, and I just measured from the back and then from the front and then to the sides, just making sure the two side ones are the same, and then the front and back were the same. I actually moved this, I moved it back about a 30-second, so just slightly back a little bit. That's to make up for everything that's going to be pushed, everything that's that may or may not be pushed forward from this going onto that. Anyways, so I just went in there like that, tacked it up on the inside, and then just finished welded it on the inside. I can't weld it on the outside because this it'll get in the way of this sitting there properly. This thing I did order on eBay. I had a hard time finding the OEM Ford spring insulators. They're like they're thicker than these, and they're like black. So I just found these ones, which didn't really say Ford on them. They just kind of had the same diameter size as the spring, so I just went off a hunch, hoping that they were going to be the same. And they fit. It's pretty tight, but over time the spring will seat itself in here. So yeah, polyurethane. If you guys already have an insulator, it makes it a lot easier for you. This also means I don't know if I can run any other insulator because my spring already has the hole for this specific one. So if I ever need to replace that, I have to get that one and not the Ford one, which I'm okay with. So now I'm just gonna have that slide it in here, and hopefully everything fits. Alright, so I got it on. I basically just lined up this edge with the edge inside the bucket part, top part right there. That's all I did. The first side, or the driver's side, was easier to line up because I didn't weld this in yet, so I had that seam there to line it up with. This I already welded it up, so I don't have that option. So yeah, all I had to do was put a flat edge on this edge and then just line it up with the inside tab corner edge part. But it should be centered now, right? So now I'm just gonna cut this off. I've already tacked these two together, so I'm gonna cut this off and then put some more tacks on the top so it doesn't move. Alright, so I got a little too carried away here. I already cut and welded or tacked these in, welded the inside gussets in. I was gonna show you guys what I was doing, but I'll just explain it because it's gonna be the same anyways. So what I did was when I did the first one, I cut out cardboard templates first, as you can see, and then I saved these just so I can do the passenger side. And all I did was I just traced them out on that thing and then cut it out, put it on here, and then welded it up. I did these by hand, so they're not going to be accurate to the other one, same as the other one, or even symmetrical with each other. Again, it's just done by hand. I just cut these pieces out by hand with an angle grinder, so they are not symmetrical. The main purpose is just to make this part stronger along with the sides to box it in. And I also have the gussets in the middle here to hopefully make this part stronger. I'm debating whether I should put another one right there in the edge or not, but we'll see if I do that or not. Or at least like a plate out here. Anyways, the first side I didn't have this problem, but this side I cut this out and then I made it a little smaller than the other side, which is fine. The only problem is that there's a big gap here now, on both sides, so I'm gonna have to fill that in with weld. Besides that, everything seems like looks basically identical to the first one. So pretty happy with that. I'm gonna get this all tacked up and welded up. I just got a little too carried away when I was cutting these and forgot to record anything. So yeah, there you go. Before I weld it all in, that's the pieces back here for you. And if you're wondering, these bolt holes here, I'm not going straight down, I'm ending it right here. So the frame's gonna be here, and as you can see, this part kind of sticks out. So then this is the frame here. This part, that top part kind of sticks out a little bit, so I might have to trim down this side pieces here, which I don't think I'll have a problem with the middle piece. Now I will, because it's gonna stick back out anyways. So if I want to lift the truck any further, I'm gonna have to cut these out. But once I do that, I'm just gonna permanently weld this onto the truck anyways. So yeah, let's just get it welded. I just finished up welding the entire backside. As you can see, it's not the greatest welds, but they will do. I'm gonna wait till tomorrow until this cools down, because I have to remove this to I gotta remove this piece to weld the backside of it. I want to weld the backside because I did that on the other side as well, and to weld the top or the bottom of the gussets in there. To finish up welding that, I'll have to remove this. All right, so here's the result. It's the next day now. Sorry, nighttime. I welded all of this. It's been cooling down now. It's pretty cold now. So now I'm gonna have to wait till tomorrow to do this, but I'm gonna have to take these out. I took these out. They kind of not warped, but it moved. The distance moved a little bit, but not too much on the frame side while I was waiting for that to cool down. I ground down the paint on the frame plates that I welded on. Grounded that down, and don't worry about those. I smacked it with the hammer a few times. Grounded just the general area where they're gonna sit down, and then what I did was I measured from the top of this to the bottom to the top of the bracket that I have on the other side, and I just put a mark there. And then this is the really complicated part, because I don't really have much to go off of. But what I did was on the other side, I measured from this side to this body mount bracket on the frame here. I did that just so in case my frame plate wasn't completely equal from the side to side, which I'm sure it's not. But I just have it tacked down right now. I'll fully weld it in tomorrow. What I have to do now is I'll just bolt on the coil bucket on this one side, and then tack up the other side. Okay, it's the next day now. I unbolted these, and this hole, the two side pieces literally just shrunk the distance. It was like by ½ an inch down here. So what I had to do was I put the nuts on the inside, loosened up the outside ones, and I just spread them back out as much as I could over and over again. And eventually I got them to sit parallel again, or somewhat parallel. It's very close now than what it was when I loosened it up. So now I'm going to take it up to the truck and bolt on one side, and then put the other piece on the other side to get it to tack up on the frame. All right, so I went ahead and finished it up real quick because it's getting cold, and I had a problem on just mounting it up in general. Probably gonna try to avoid taking this back out. I'm just gonna paint it on the truck right now as it sits, because when I put it on, this side was lifting this way back at us, it was lifting out at the back, so that means the whole thing was twisted a little bit. I don't know how the fuck that happened. Yeah, this is why I should have made sure the two sides were the same, but I just thought the rods would keep it same like that, unless this is off. But I'm not sure. What I had to do is I had to put a relief cut in this, where I welded it, and then this, and I pulled this back in with like 3 ratchet straps just to get this to touch the frame again. And then I had to fill this back up with weld, filled that back up with weld, and then I reinforced it with a piece of bent. I bent up 1/8 inch plate right there, and I just welded it up. That should reinforce it enough, and the other side was fine. And then once I did that, what I did was, since I drew this out and I made them cut this hole at exactly 3/4, so I'm using 3/4 bolts for this. Since that was exactly at 3/4, the bolts have a hard time fitting in, especially when it's supposed to go through 3 pieces of steel there. So what I did was I took a piece of, I have an end mill bit, 3/4 end mill, and this happened to, all I did was I fit this in there and then just turned it over and over again until I was able to slip this through easily. And that, I did this on both sides, and that's how I was able to fit these in again. On the other side it was easy because I just had to take this out and then did it separately. On this side I didn't want to take it out because that side would have sprung back, and then I would have had a hell of a time putting it back in. So all I did was I tightened 3 bolts, loosened one, and then did that, and then put it back in, loosened the other one, put it back in, until all 4 were done. I'm not sure if I already mentioned that I cut that. I don't know, but yeah, I had to trim the fender liner a little bit, and these hoses are kind of touching it, but it's not too bad. It's not too bad at all. It is bowing out. Oh, I'm tripping. It is bowing forward a little bit, so I'm gonna have to angle the axle back slightly and then push it forward. Now that should be able to fix it. It's because the buckets are exactly at 90 degrees off the truck, both sides. So both sides are bowing right now, so I think I just have to adjust the axle, make it level with that. Hopefully that'll fix it. So far I think it's sitting about 8 inches from stock. It's 8 inches higher than the rear is, so I'm not sure, but from the ground to where this is, it's about 42 inches. So I went down about 4 inches from the jack stand. So I wanted it about as high as it was sitting on the jack stands, but we'll see. I'll take some I'll take some measurements and see how big of a tire I can fit under here. But as you can see, it's bouncing. I did the same. I did the test where I just lifted it up and then just loosened my jack all the way really fast, and it just dropped. And it's holding up very well. So I'm just gonna, I was getting it warmed up with these lights, but I'm probably just gonna come back tomorrow, get the spring back out, and then paint it while it's on the truck right now. And yeah, I guess that's the end of, that wraps up the video. I will have to take the axle back out eventually to paint it, and then finish up welding up the track bar mount that I made. Also, I just found the track bar mount over here is just barely clearing the spring. So I don't know what it's gonna do when the axle goes up, but once it's out, I'm just gonna put a little relief cut in there, and that'll fix it. But yeah, I'm just gonna end this video here, guys. Thank you guys for watching. Subscribe, like this video. Go ahead and check out my other videos. The other videos for this, I know there's a lot of things done in this video right now, but as I explained in the start of the video, I haven't gotten to uploading those videos yet because they're again having trouble loading on my laptop. So I might have to get either a new laptop or figure out a way to edit those videos. Besides that, yeah, this wraps up the whole coil bucket video. Thank you guys for watching.